We're continuing our conversation about the use of psychedelic therapy with veteran Adam Zaffuto and his wife Alex Pursglove. We want to thank them for being here today. And Adam, tell us about what you experienced when you came home, because it's all of this intense stuff, and then you come home and what? You get a piece of paper, thank you for your service.
Yeah, you get a DD-214, an honorable discharge, and you're done and you're out. And I went back to college, I went back to school, and was having all of the kind of symptomatic responses to PTSD of heightened, anger, alertness, outbursts. And those things, caused issue in me and Alex's relationship when we started dating. And then I went to counseling at Duquesne for 6 years and saw a ton of tremendous progress from that. What kind of brought a lot of the symptoms back was the collapse in Afghanistan.
Yeah.
The collapse of the government of Afghanistan and the Taliban taking control really brought back a lot of these emotions and these symptoms back like full force.
Did you feel like because you had spent time over there working to help that it felt, how for you?
It felt like a personal failure. It felt like this massive weight of failure that me and my brothers had gone and served, and it just felt like it was just given up so quickly to the Taliban, and there was this massive weight of failure, and for me it was depression and bringing back a lot of the symptoms of PTSD, and it was right at the time that our daughter Stella was born. And so for me, I knew I don't have 6 years of counseling. I don't have that time. I need to be here for my wife. I need to be here for my daughter, and I need to do it now.
Alex, what were some of the things that you noticed starting to resurface?
Oh, I mean, he just shifted so quickly. And granted, our daughter was born, we were both sleep deprived, and I was not as focused on Adam as I normally would be because I had a newborn baby at home. But just, dramatic shifts of going back into anger and like little things setting him off and depression. He just wasn't present with us.
And so you sought out treatment, psychedelic therapy in California. You said it was a very ceremonial experience. Walk us through what happened.
Yeah, so I went and I met with the group, and they've been doing psychedelic therapies for 12 years. They'd been doing it in Portugal where it was legal and doing it here in the United States. And we had kind of discussed what were the best treatment plans. And for me, treatment looked like 3 MDMA ceremonies and then an ayahuasca ceremony. And the first MDMA ceremony was one of the most profound experiences of my life.
How did you feel after that? Because I think that, as Andy mentioned, people think of this, Woodstock, hippie era, but there really is something to this, especially for you.
Yeah, for me it was going back and seeing these moments in combat, these traumatic experiences, and I describe it as seeing them through the lens of love, of seeing these moments not through the context that I had put on them, specifically instances in Iraq where making decisions that, had left me feeling like I was a monster. And then having to go back and experience these things, but experience them through the lens of love. And it completely shifting my perspective of how I viewed myself today, how I viewed myself in that moment, how I viewed myself in the time between. And that was the big thing, was this perspective shift of, oh, I'm not a monster. I was a 23-year-old kid being put in these incredibly bizarre situations, having to make split-second decisions that involve my life and other people's lives. And then having to come back and have this
go grocery shopping and and do like normal tasks after something like that.
Yeah.
You really want to see this available to more people, and as we're seeing this kind of creep with California decriminalizing it, other states moving to push to make it legal, what are you hoping to see?
I'm hoping to see, number one, that the VA is willing to accept alternative therapies. I think we're starting to see that with their use of ketamine therapy for depression and for PTSD. And I think the next step is to trust in the science that's already been done. The organization called MAPS, the Multidisciplinary Association on Psychedelic Studies, did phase 1, phase 2, and phase 3 studies on treatment-resistant PTSD in veterans. And they saw just absolutely astounding results in the high 80s and high 90s of alleviation of PTSD symptoms, and then a vast majority of people no longer statistically meeting a diagnosis of PTSD.
Wow. And that's across exactly what we saw with you.
Yeah. Well, thank you both for coming on and sharing your journey and your
Yeah.
story and what you're hoping to see in the future. We appreciate you opening up to
Thank
us
you so
today.
much.
And you can catch the second part of Andy's story where he talks with another veteran who sought the help of magic mushrooms. That's tonight at 6 on KDKA. Well, you may not be ready, but the holiday season is here, and now is the time to start shopping. But don't worry, an upcoming event is here to help. We're getting a sneak peek at some of the available gifts. That's coming up next.